And I'm now recording. This is Stephen Smith. Today is June 5th, 2018. This is the orientation meeting for ITSE 2309. I'll get it right. Summer session at Collin College. And we will be talking today about just following the syllabus. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to share my screen. Hello, Rhoda. Rhoda, if you'd like, you can, down in the lower left corner of your screen is a icon that says stop video if you don't want to have your camera on. Lots of people don't. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Down in the lower left of your Zoom screen, there is an icon that says stop video.
Okay.
If you want to just hit that, then there. Now you're not. Some people don't like to have their picture up. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And let's see. So you should see what I'm looking at in my screen here. And in the, basically, let me go over the syllabus first. Bring it up in Word. The syllabus is kind of long. And there's a lot of stuff in here that you really don't care a whole lot about. The main thing you care about is the books, the meeting times, and the, let's see. So here we have the general time. I think this, our schedule is through the 16-week semester, but you can see it, it's going to be pared down to a 10-week session. I need to get in here and work with that a little bit, but so it's showing a 16-week semester yet, but we have a 10-week semester, so it's going to be a little bit shorter. Okay, the real course syllabus. Excuse me. And this is what you really need to know for this. I typically do not initiate drops for students. I'm saying here that you signed up for this class, therefore, should you decide, it's up to you to drop. Let's see, the other point here is exercises all have due dates. Somebody was telling me that some of them are back in September or something. I'll go through and check them. But my due dates, when I assign something, I call it they're soft, and I do not impose a penalty if you're past the due date. It doesn't hurt me to take an assignment that's late. Now, that said, I do get a little bit upset when I get them all at the last minute. So keep up with it. I think I'm going to move to a different policy where if you're habitually late and you have lots of stuff late, I'm going to impose a penalty just to try to keep you on track. I don't think I'm doing students any favors with not imposing a penalty just because it's past the due date. I just don't want to kill your grandmother. Cutoff is Thursday, August 9th. That is our last class meeting. That's the last class meeting day for the semester. I don't know whether we will meet on that day or not. It's a Thursday, so we should. An assignment's due date may be after August 9th, last assignment or something, but late assignments have to be in by the last day.
An email.
Okay. Hi. Let's see, Julie. Julie, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Down at the lower left of your screen, on the lower left side of your screen, is an icon that says stop video. If you don't want everybody to see you. I don't mind seeing you. There you go. Okay, so you've turned it off. And let's see, I typically turn everybody's microphones off. But if your camera on you is up to you, most students like to run without the camera, but that's your call. Okay. Let's see, Canvas gradebook. My Canvas gradebook does not count late assignments as 0. Sometimes students will think that they have a very high grade if they're missing. Now, you can see in Canvas, or you could ask me, if you're missing any assignments, and you should see that. If I have not graded an assignment, it doesn't count as 0, or if you haven't turned it in, it does not count as 0. And I set the gradebook this way because I don't always get the assignments graded on the exact day that they're due. Well, if I set it to count ungraded assignments as 0, then you would have a 0 showing between the time you turned it in and the time I graded it, and so I would have panicking students. So only shows the average of what has been submitted and graded. I record my lectures, link them to Canvas. Well, you're here. I usually don't record my video. You'll see the screen as you can now. You have that. The textbook is given. I am not permitted to install software for you. Okay. I think we're going to meet 2 days a week, unless everybody wants it to be one day. The lectures are going to be recorded, and you'll be able to come to a link on there, and you'll be able to watch the recording of the session. Okay, this is a sample programming assignment. So here would be the assignment. This is a sample assignment. This is a sample of what your programs might look like. You have your name in there. You're telling me what the assignment is. This is another way to put a comment. Both of these are comments in the SQL language. The first line of your program will always be use what database. And these are examples of SQL statements, okay? So it says use AP underscore DB. Number 1, notice it starts with dash dash, that is a comment. And here is the SQL code that would return all rows from the vendor's table. And all 3 of these, we'll learn a lot more about this stuff as we go through the textbook. If you get an error here, your database is misnamed. Anyway, that's the part of the syllabus that I think is important. So that's the real course syllabus. Course syllabus, in my opinion, should be 1 page, not 10 pages. Okay. Let me. Okay, if I can get this. Okay, I've turned on the microphones for anyone who wishes to ask a question. I'm going to pause for a question. So some of you have your microphones turned off, and that's okay. I can't go turn it on. If you've turned it off, I can't turn it on. I can turn you off, but I can't turn it on if you have turned it off. So if anybody has a question, you may unmute your microphone and go ahead. Okay. Well, okay, I'm going to turn the microphones back off. Okay, this summer we are going to be studying the SQL programming language, and the SQL programming language is an ancient language. It goes back to the early 1960s, and in computer science terms, that is ancient. So it may as well be back in the dinosaur days. SQL programming is unlike other programming languages, and sometimes I really miss having a live class in front of me, because I usually ask at this time, I say, well, how many of you have programmed in another programming language? I suspect that out of, what do I have here, 13, 14 people, not all here, but I suspect I'd have 5 or 6 that have taken either C or Java. And SQL programming is a completely different creature, we're going to find out. Now, we're going to start out a little bit differently, because we're going to start, let me get to the course. Didn't need to do that. I'm going to go to the modules. Orientation, you can see some textbook and the orientation stuff here, and you see, you get to read my bio here. And my wife and I do tandem bicycling. So you can see my degrees, short CV. I'm not going to dwell on the orientation. I posted a link to how to install the SQL server. The tutorial that's posted under the last one, by the way, let me scroll down. The very last module, I'm scrolling down, scrolling. The very last module is recorded lectures. If you open that, there's the installation instructions. It's a YouTube video, and that'll help you do the installation. This module 2 is on installing the. There's a lab assignment and a discussion that's assigned. I haven't put a due date on those yet. I will. I'll decide if I'm going to assign them. Okay, so where we're going to start really, when we start our programming, is in module 3, creating a table. Now, the important point is this is out of order in the textbook. The textbook doesn't create the tables until it gets much farther on down the road. However, I'm going to go ahead and create the tables. I'm going to cover this one. I'll cover it in more detail on Thursday night. But when we start in module 3, let me bring this page up. We will talk about tables. What is a table? So at this point, it would be good to do the assigned reading in the textbook, and read the module also. By the way, I didn't talk a whole lot about the textbook. The textbook is also available if you find. Hold it up. Okay. I still have my camera on, yes. It is the 2012 version. And this is perfectly good textbook. There are very few differences between the 2012 and the 2016. So if you want to use the 2012 version, that's fine. Okay. We're going to talk about these things. We're going to talk about foreign keys, primary keys, and that sort of thing are mentioned in the textbook. But generally speaking, there are 3 conditions, and all databases have to follow these guys. And fields have a single value. Okay, so a table is made up of fields. If you think of a table as a box of index cards, and on the box of index cards are blanks in which you can write information. So there might be a place on there for your name. There might be a place for your address, place for your phone number. All of those are called fields. All fields have a single value. Now, what this means is that if I'm going to put a name in a field, so I have a field for name. If I put my name, let's say Stephen Smith, in that field, that is its value. I'm saying that I will never want to get my last name and not my first name. So I have to take it all together. I cannot search on just my last name. Now, can I do it? Yes, I can do it, but I have violated a fundamental rule of database. It's a little bit like saying you cannot live permanently in a temporary shelter. Can you do it? Yes, but now it's not a temporary shelter anymore. Fields have a single value. No duplicate rows. No two rows, no two fields, no two index cards in the database can be equal, exactly the same in all fields. Well, could there be fewer than all fields where they're different? All of them don't have to be different, just one of them does. So if one of them's different, that's fine. And we want to zero in on that one thing, excuse me a minute, on that one thing that causes our fields to be different. And that's known as the primary key. And in our life, that would be the your social security number, for example. Okay, so it has a primary key. There's something about each record that makes it different. And finally, the last one is a database is accessed by content only. You may be used to seeing a spreadsheet, and a database is going to look a little bit to you like a spreadsheet. But a database is not. A database is where instead of saying I want row 6, column 5, row 6, column A, or something like that, whatever it is in the spreadsheet, we're going to say, I want to see all of the records where the city is Frisco. I want to see all of the records whose area code and the phone number, I just learned the other day, not everybody knows what an area code is anymore, is 940. Okay. And we're going to generate SQL code to create these database tables. So I'm going to talk a lot more about this next time, but right now I'm just kind of making the assignment, and I'm pointing out that we are stepping ahead. Notice that we're way up there in pages 340, 341, and 344 through 351. By the way, the page numbers are the same if you're using the 2012 version. So take a look at that, and on Thursday night I'll have some notes that we'll go through. Let's see if we have any. Oh, let me turn this off. Josh. And Shasha. Okay, here is a little video that little video on creating tables. I don't want to run it right now. I'm going to let you run it and take a look at it, and then here's code. This code would execute. Okay, I'm going to not try to get into too much of this tonight. The objective tonight is mostly just to talk about the syllabus, the class, and to just get a feel for Zoom and what we're doing. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to unmute you and let you talk. Okay, so your microphones are turned on at my end. Now, if you have turned it off at your end, then Nobody, I can't hear you. But most of you have your microphones turned off. But you may turn them on now if you wish to ask a question. I'm going to pause.
I have a question.
And let's see.
This is Natalie Warden.
I see you. Okay.
How will the tests be structured? Will it be like multiple choice, or will it be coding during the test, or?
Very good. Question is about the tests. How will the tests be structured? The tests will be online, is probably the most important part. You will have a period of time to take them, and I'm going to, Canvas, what Canvas does, I can tell when you access the test, I can tell when you turn it in, and there will be a time limit that you have. So once you access the test, your time starts, and so it'll be like 2 hours or 2.5 hours or something like that to give you enough time to take the test. And no, they are not multiple choice. They are typically questions where you do something. So create something. They will look a lot like the exercises. Now, in order to get this course certified for online delivery, I had to write quizzes. I don't put a whole lot of stock in those quizzes. You are able to take the quiz as many times as you want to, and until you get 100 or until you're satisfied with your grade. So the quizzes aren't a big deal. The structure of the test will be usually 10 questions. They look just like the exercises. Have I answered your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Are you able to see my icon? I'm
like your mouse?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. There. Okay. Other questions?
Yes, this is Beeman.
Beeman, hi.
Okay, I'm following up on her question. I didn't quite understand. So we'll be coding and submitting one at a time?
No.
No.
That's going to be turned in just like the exercises. So as you get to the first exercise, think of that as that would be a test question. It's going to look just almost exactly like that. It won't be exactly that, but it'll be written out, it'll be typed out into a file. You'll save the file and then upload the file.
And execute it and whatever.
Yes, you'll execute it and to check it, make sure it executes. A test can be turned in that is if it doesn't execute, that's not the end of the world, but it's not a good sign. Let's put it that way.
Is there any way we can see a sample test anytime before a test?
Yes, I haven't turned it on yet. Let's get a couple of. How about after a couple of weeks, I'll turn the sample test on.
Okay.
I don't want to blow you away with stuff that's that we're not doing yet. So after about module 5 or 6, I think. Well, you can see where the test falls. So it comes after module 6, and you'll have plenty of warning on it, and you will have plenty of time to do it. So I make the test assignment, and then I allow you at least a full weekend and a couple of days on either side to do the test. So I leave the test up and available for about 5 days. But when you start, you will only have whatever I say then 2 to 2.5 hours. I haven't written the test yet, but I have several versions of it.
Okay, so when I open the test, so before I start, I should be able to look at the question, is it?
No, you won't be able to look at the questions until you start the test, but you will have enough time to read the questions, step through them. I try to give you plenty of
Okay.
time. It does not shut off. It does not turn off and block you from submitting your go. If you're 2 minutes late, the test does not time out and say, you can't turn it in because you're late. If you're 2 minutes late, don't worry about it. If you're supposed to take 2 hours and you take 5 hours, there would be a penalty.
Okay. Thank you.
But that's something that I take care of. I don't trust the computer to do that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Human beings, too many things can go wrong.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Other questions? How is this time, this 6 o'clock time, going to work out for you people? You people.
It's okay with me, Beeman.
Okay. Natalie?
It's okay with me.
Rhoda, I see you.
Can we do it earlier, like 5 or 4?
The question is, one person is asking for an earlier meeting time.
Hi, Professor. I'm looking for something like after dinner, probably like around 9 p.m., but I think it's going to be late for most of you guys.
Okay. I think somebody I hear with the children in the background, that's probably has something to do with the earlier time.
I'm the one who has a child in the background. So.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's why I can turn the microphones off just fine and do. Well, we've set it up at 6. Let me do this. Why don't I send what we call a what's that scheduling software you call? I had it right at the tip of my tongue a minute ago, where everybody can fill in when they want it to be. What's that called? It was real popular about 3 or 4 years ago, and I haven't seen it.
Some kind of Survey Monkey or something?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it gives you a list of times when we could have it. I'm pretty well open to doing the lecture anytime. And Rhoda, anytime that you want to follow the lecture recorded,
Okay.
that would be fine. So this lecture, for example, this class will be recorded and posted in the next 15 or 20 minutes. So by 7 o'clock, the recorded lecture will be up.
Now I have a question. When you record the lecture, will our conversation and all that question answer will be recorded as well?
I believe it will. I guess we're about to find out.
We're allowed to record the meeting because I see at the bottom there's a record option.
I believe you are allowed to record on your computer. If you are recording on, there's really no reason for you to do that. You may, but I'm recording this, and I will record it, and it's kind of you have to go through several steps to use it. So I'll take care of all that, and I'll get it up on YouTube. And I believe Byman, am I got your name right? Has asked if the students' questions will be recorded, and I believe they will. We're about to find out.
Okay.
Other questions? And this will be the way we will do it. You can send me code. If you ask me a question about code and I say, let me see your code, I want you to send it to me via the Canvas messaging. And I always have to be careful when I'm sharing my screen that I don't see, for example, I have a message from somebody there, and I always try to be careful that I don't accidentally broadcast your message. The bottom line is, if you have message of an intensely personal matter or urgent, important matter, then you may use the Collin College email. If it's just routine stuff about the class, go ahead and use the Canvas messaging. You'll get an answer faster through Canvas. I do try to get back to those right away. My pledge to you is to be here, to be available, and to answer my email quickly, and to meet you. I can meet you on this, so we could, through email, we can set up a time to have a chat here, almost face-to-face. And what I ask from you is, I ask you to check your messages and check your announcements daily. You won't have something to turn in every day, but check and see what's going on. Questions? If there are no questions, that's about all I had for tonight. I told you I didn't think it would take very long. So all I wanted to do was just kind of get us started and get a feel for the Zoom software and how we were going to do it.
It worked out just fine. Thank you.
Okay. And again, if you cannot be here at 6 o'clock, it's okay. You're encouraged to be here at 6 o'clock. But if you cannot be, that's okay. You are responsible for viewing the tape, and it will be there. And it'll be up in just a few minutes. Okay, if there are no further questions, I'm going to call us dismissed. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
And good night. I'm going to turn off the recording. Stopping recording.